Hi everyone, it's Robbie here at Past Productions, and today we are going to be learning how to make our very own coins and emboss them using our own tools. Let's get started.
So for this activity, you are going to need some tracing paper, or you can also use baking paper. You're going to need some circles of silver card or gold or bronze, the colour of coins. You're going to need a piece of something soft like felt. You're also going to need a crayon or a pencil to mark it, and you're also going to need these. Now, these are embossing tools. You can get them in most shops, you can get them on Amazon and lots of craft shops. There'll be links below in the description. You are also going to need, well, I like to use my circle cutter. Now this cuts circles that are about 2.5 inches, which I find are really handy for this activity, or you can cut them out with scissors. So take your circle, and then you are going to use the tracing paper to make a design on the back of it. So remember, this is a coin, and coins were designed to be difficult to copy. So you want to think of things that might make yours difficult to copy. So I'm going to think of some things that are on other coins. So I need a logo and I'm going to need some pattern. So I'm going to start with some dots around the edge. And I like the dots because if my tracing paper starts to move, then I can use the dots to realign it. However, I would advise, if you're working with students, that you encourage them to paperclip this together because that will hold it in place better. So I'm just doing mine very roughly, and you don't want to press too hard. And the design only has to be rough because this is not going to show on the coin. So I need a logo in the middle. So because we're Past Productions, I'm going to do the Past Productions logo. So our logo is two P's that are back to back, and then there are two steps underneath. And I also think I'm going to put a ring around the logo. So I'm going to do it very roughly. And don't worry, because whatever you do now on your design, you can change this when it comes to actually doing the embossing. So put as many ideas as you want down. So as you can see, I'm having to hold the tracing paper to make sure it doesn't rip. You've got to find that nice balance of pressing firm enough to make the mark, but not so deep that it actually rips the tracing paper. There we go. And so there's my design. Now, the problem that we have is this design, if I'm going to emboss it, I'm going to press it into the coin, it's going to end up backwards. So what I need to do is I need to flip the design and I need to reverse it. So this is why we've used tracing paper. So if you turn the tracing paper around, like so, you now have essentially a mirror image of the design, which is now going to come out the right way on your paper. For instance, if you'd written words on your design, they would be backwards, whereas we flipped it now, it should come out the right way. So take your felt or whatever soft material you've got, and I would advise you to do a test on whatever material you're using, first of all, to make sure the embossing tools aren't going to go through your card. And then you need to put the felt underneath, the card on top, and your design on top of that. Now, I really would advise you to secure this some way. I'm going to do mine freehand just to show you quickly. And most embossing tools that you get should have some bigger and some smaller circles on the end. And you're going to use these to essentially press the design into the card. So I'm going to use the big one for most of the design, and then the smaller one I'm going to use for the lines under the logo. So here's the big one, and as I hold my object, I am going to take it and I'm literally going to press the design into the coin. So I'm going to start with those dots around the edge first. So watch how I'm pressing quite heavily. And again, you have to find your own way of what's strong enough so it doesn't go through, but soft enough so you can still get an impression of it. So I'm just pressing down on these circles. These are the easy parts, I think, because you're just pressing downwards. It gets harder. And as you can see here, I've just realized that my design has moved over slightly, but it's too late. I'm only doing this as an example. You can take a lot more care and time when you do it yourself. So there we go. I've nearly done all my dots. That's it. My wrists are hurt a little bit, but they do say no pain, no gain. So the next bit is I'm going to do the logo. So for this one, you have to press and drag because you've got some straight and curved lines. So watch how I'm pressing down and dragging. And again, be really careful not to rip the tracing paper. If you want to make this more advanced, you can do the design and you can leave the design next door to it and actually just go straight onto the card. But you've got to be very confident that you can copy your designs side by side. I always advise the tracing paper. So I'm going to use the small bit now to make these lines underneath. And this is ripping my tracing paper, but I'm nearly finished, so I don't mind. Here we go. And you can see actually my design has moved right over, so this is not a great example, I'm sorry. But what you can do now is you've got your design and some of the pencil has bled through. You can go over it now. So make some of these lines really pronounced. If you want to make them thicker, you can thicken them up. So I'm just doing some general tidying here. I'm redoing some of these dots, just to make sure they're really pressed in, because what you want is to get a really good imprint on the other side, or emboss even. There we go. I'm fairly happy with this. So if you followed all of these steps, once you finish this, if you turn over your coin, as I will do now, you will find that your design is no longer 2D, it is now 3D. And there is my embossed coin. Try it yourself.